Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Sunday. It is the 15th of June. It is Ashadha Masa or Vamana Masa, Krishna Paksham, and it's Vijay. So there are no events in the calendar. So we will quickly move into daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Buddha was speaking to Vidura about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He spoke so far about the establishing Yudhishthira in the Hastinapura as the king of all the world. And then after that, he started speaking about Krishna. So Krishna comes back to Dwaraka, where he has been enjoying with all his family members. Bhagavan api Vishwatma, Lokaveda Patanugaha, Kaman Shisheved Bharatvam, Dvarvatyam, Asaktaha Sankyam Asitaha. When Krishna was enjoying in Dwaraka, he was completely situated in Sankyam Asitaha, Sankhya philosophy. So detaching oneself from the matter completely. So this is with all kinds of knowledge and detachment. Even though he is a Bhagavan api Vishwatma, super soul of the universe. Loka Veda Patanugaha, and he is the compiler of all the Vedas, which are meant for all the people to be followed. So he is always Yadjidacharaha Sreshtaha. So, but here he is, when he was living in the Grihastha he has followed all the principles perfectly. Asaktaha Sankyam Asitaha. In such a way, he has enjoyed. So, in such a way, after saying that one, Buddha further saying, when he was enjoying all his his face is decorated with the smiles, always gentle smiles. Um, and also his eye glances, they are so merciful. And when his words are so sweet, and his pastimes are flawless, and he is the abode of goddess of fortune. Likewise, Uddhava is describing the Krishna's beauty. Okay, likewise, we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 3, verse number 20. स्निग्धस्मितावलोकेन वाचा पीयूषकल्पयां चरित्रेण अनवध्येन श्रीनिकेतेन चात्मना स्निग्धस्मितावलोकेन स्निग्धस्मित अवलोकेन स्निग्धस्mita is a very gentle smitavalokena by the glance with sweet smiles. Snigdha gentle and by glance with a sweet smile. Snigdha smitavalokena. Vacha piyusha kalpaya. And whenever he speaks, those words are piyusha kalpaya, just compared to the nectar. That's why even though we are reading Bhagavad Gita every day, it is feeling nectarian to us. And hearing about Krishna, it is always nectar. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. And whenever that Rasamalayam he speaks is Vacha Piyusha Kalpaya. Again, he speaks only the complete rasa only, the complete nectarian. This is my bhaktir he bhotaram amritatvaya kalpate. Amritatvaya kalpate. when the Amritattva is speaking, and it speaks only the Amrita only compared to the nectar. Vacha Piyusha Kalpaya, Charitrena Anamadhyena, and Charitrena by character with Anamadhyena without flaw. There is no flaw. There are no mistakes in his life. Tatkrutamati Vaishyamyam Nirvadhyasana Kvachit. When Bhishma also mentions in his before his prayers, um, Sarvatmana, so he is the super soul of everyone. And Tatkrutamati Vaishyamyam Nirvadhyasana Kvachit. Okay, likewise, Charitrena Anamadhyena. Sriniketena Chatmana. Sriniketana is the abode of and goddess of fortune is lives in his body. Sriniketena Chatmana. Fortune, Niketena residence. He is the abode of the goddess of fortune. Sriniketana Cha Atmana by his transcendental body. Likewise, Buddha is glorifying the beauty of Krishna. स्निग्धस्मितावलोकेन वाचा पीयूषकल्पया चरित्रेण अनुमध्येन श्रीनिकेतेन चात्मना. So translation for this shloka. He was there in his transcendental body, the residence of the goddess of fortune, with his usual gentle and sweetly smiling face, his nectarian words, and his flawless character. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, can we request Hemlata Mataji to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In the previous verse, it is described that Lord Krishna, being situated in the truths of Sankhya philosophy, is detached from all kinds of matter. In the present verse, it is described that he is the residence of the goddess of fortune. These two things are not at all contradictory. Lord Krishna is detached from the variegatedness of the inferior nature, but he is in the eternal blissful enjoyment of the spiritual nature or his internal potency. One who has a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand this distinction between the external and internal potencies. In Bhagavad Gita, the internal potency is described as the Para Prakriti. In the Vishnu Puran, also the internal potency of Vishnu is described as Para Shakti. The Lord is never detached from the association of Parasakti. This Parashakti and her manifestations are described in the Brahma Samhita 5.37 as Anand Chinmaya Ras Pratibhavitaha Bhavita. The Lord is eternally joyful and cognizant in the taste derived from such transcendental bliss. Negation of the variegatedness of the inferior energy doesn't necessitate negation of the positive transcendental bliss of the spiritual world. Therefore, the Lord's gentleness, his smile, his character, and everything related to him are all transcendental. Such manifestations of internal potencies are the reality, of which the material shadow is only a temporary representation, from which everyone with proper knowledge must be detached. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
So here, Buddha is mentioning in the previous shloka, saying that the asaktaha sankyam asitaha. So just Sankhya philosophy is being detached, so separating the elements. I am not the legs, I am not the hands, I am not the rectum, I am not the genital, I am not the tummy or mouth or face or head. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankariti me bhinna prakriti rasta. These are all separated energy of the Lord, material energy. But I am separated from them. So that in such a way, this is Sankhya philosophy detaches one from the matter. In the present verse, it is described that he is the residence of the goddess of fortune. We know that Srivatsa Srivatsankam, that symbol, goddess of fortune, it is on the chest of the Lord's body, and she is the always stays. Okay, so goddess of fortune. So that means all Lakshmi is meant to serve Krishna. These two things are not at all contradictory. Not at all contradictory. Lord Krishna, yes, Lord Krishna is detached from the variegatedness of the inferior nature, but he is in eternal blissful enjoyment of the spiritual nature or his internal potency. So here, whenever in the Brahma Samhita also, it is mentioned, एवं ज्योतिर्मयो देवः सदानन्दं परात्परः आत्मा रामस्य तस्यास्ति प्रकृत्या न समागमः, and he never come in contact with the material nature. प्रकृत्या न समागमः माया रममाणस्य नवयोगस्तया सह आत्मना रमया रेमे त्यक्तकालं शुश्रूषया. So he is Atmana Ramaya Reme. He is enjoying with his Ramamanasya, Maya Ramamanasya Navyoga Saha. At the same time, while he is engaging with Rama Devi, goddess of fortune, and at the same time, he is not separated from the material energy also, because by his auxiliary activity, check the column, Sisrukshaya, column, the time factor, auxiliary energy of the Lord, he is associating with the material nature. That is Durga Devi, or that is of the material nature. But this is of the material nature. But here in the spiritual world, all variegatedness is there. Kaivalyam iva murtimat. Kaivalyam iva Kaivalyam. So there it is described. तत्र चाध्यापमानस्य भगवान् शब्दगोचरः सत्त्वं विष्टभ्यवर्ज्यं स्वानाम्नो मृडयन् ऋषः. So, and he gives enjoyment to all his associates. And also, there is a beautiful forest is also there. That is the called, what is that word? So that for beautiful forest with all kinds of variegatedness. Kaivalyamiva murtimat. I think this one is described like the Yatra Naishresham Nama Vanam Kam Dugaihi Drumaihi Sarvatu Sri Vibhrajat Kaivalyamiva Murtimat. So complete variegatedness. All flowers, fruits, birds, and everything are there. That is, he is enjoying with all his opulences, and they are eternal things. That is his internal potency or the spiritual nature. One who has poor fund of knowledge cannot understand this distinction between the external and internal potencies. So here, for example, if I say in our life, we want to enjoy. In our family, we may think that we are 4 people or 2 people or 3 people like that. Though we have got house, if we are alone, we cannot enjoy. We need to share the love with the living entities. And how many living entities are there? Only 1 or 2 or 3. That is the spirit spark. So that is the original nature. And if many people are there and we have got in cooperation, in conjunction, and with all the living entities, all happily living, then it doesn't matter whether the body is small or bigger, or it is material or non-material things. It is always happiness is there. That is blissful and happiness. That one in the spiritual world, if we take out all the matter, and all the variegatedness, the enjoyment, everything with the living entities, that will go further. That is the main thing. But when we are here in this material world covered by the matter, we need to revive that happiness and the love towards all the living entities. Sometimes some people, they grow so many pets in their home. That is good. That is one way of exchanging the loves. But they are just patting them because of their bodies. They love their bodies, but actually it is the love exchange between the two spirit souls that needs to be addressed. that is there in the spiritual world, and actually between the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, in the Bhagavad Gita, the internal potency is described as a para prakriti. So, apare mitaspanyam sasyam yona parapuman jivabhota mahabaho yedam dharite jagat. This is apare mitaspanyam vidhime param prakritim. Vidhime param prakritim. The living entities belongs to para prakriti, but Jivabhutam, all these living entities, Jivabhuta Mahabaho, O Arjuna, Ye Dharite Jagat, they have come to this material world and trying to experience Dharite Jagat. So in the Vishnu Purana also, it is the internal potency of Vishnu is described as the Parashakti. विष्णु शक्ति है परा प्रोक्ता क्षेत्र ज्ञाक्य तथा परा अविद्या कर्म संज्ञाया तृतीय शक्ति ऋष्यते. So Lord's energy is in three of categories. Tritiya Shakti, this is Tritiya Shakti. So one is the Lord's superior energy, Lord He Himself, and then inferior energy, the matter, and the living entities belongs to the marginal energy. They can stay either with the spiritual or material. But Lord is never detached from the association of the Parashakti. He is always in his transcendental body. The Parashakti and her manifestations are described in the Brahma Samhita as the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratipavitabihi. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratipavitabihi Tabhiryeva Nijrupataya. That is described further in the Brahma Samhita. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratipavitabihi Tabhirya एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसति अखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So Thabihi is, it mentions as the gopis. And he enjoys in his Nijarupataya Kalabhihi, Nijarupa, in his own transcendental body. That is Krishna. 200. Venum Kvanantam Arvinda Dalayataksham Barhavatam Sam Asitam Bhuda Sundharangam. He enjoys with all the gopis. That is Ananda Chinmay Rasa Prabhavitabihi. Again, Tabihi. Tabihi is the gopis. And the Lord is eternally joyful and cognizant in the taste derived from such transcendental bliss. And negation of the variegatedness of the inferior energy does not necessitate the negation of the positive transcendental bliss of the spiritual world. Yes, so negation of negative means that does not mean it is positive. So it comes to maybe the zero. Brahma Botaha Prasanatma na sochiti na kamchiti. Only that point of time. But that does not mean that it is in the transcendental bliss of the spiritual world. And therefore, the Lord's gentleness and his smile, his character, and everything else, it goes beyond the Brahma Buddha Prasanatma. He is always स्थितं व्रजन्तमासीनं शयानं वा गुहाशयं प्रेक्षणीय ईहितं ध्यायेत् शुद्धभावेन चेतसा. So one has to meditate on the form of the Lord. With the Lord is his smiles are gentle, and his character and everything related to him are all transcendental. Such manifestations of the internal potency are the reality of which the material shadow is only a temporary representation from which everyone with proper knowledge must be detached. So this is again, this is the part when Uddhava is mentioning Snigdha Smitavalokeena Vacha Piyusha Kalpaya. That is for meditation purposes as well. Not only for knowing and simply hearing it. One has to meditate on the beautiful form of the Lord. Tasyavalokamadikam krupayate ghora tapatriyopashamanaya nisrushtamakshnoho. Snigdha Smitanukuditam Vipula Prasadam. Jayatchiram Vipula Bhavanaya Guhayam. Jayatchiram. One has to meditate on the form which is so beautiful and gentle and such kind of beautiful form for a Jayatchiram Vipula Bhavanaya Guhayam with a greater and broader intelligence. Vipula Bhavanaya Guhayam. In the heart, he needs to meditate on the Lord's gentle smiles. This is all described in the yogi meditates like this in a beautiful form. And Kapil Bhagavan mentions further that Tai Darshini Avayavaihi Udhara विलासहासेक्षित वामसूक्तैः कृतात्मनो कृत प्राणांश भक्तिः अनिश्चितो मे गतिम अन्वयम प्रयुङ्क्ते. So when he is meditating like this on the beautiful form of the Lord, Taid Darshaniya Avayavaihi Udara, and meditating on each and limbs of the Lord, Vilasa Hasa Ikshita Vama Suktehi. Vilasa is enjoying mood, Vilasa Hasa smiles, Ikshita his glances, Vama Suktehi his words, like the Piyusha Kalpaya, all these things, Krutatmano Kruta Pranam Bhaktihi, and he lose all himself to that Lord's good qualities, our Lord's beauty. He surrenders himself to the Lord. When we have got little babies in our children, when they are 9 years or 9 months old or 6 months old, and they started speaking so gently and so beautiful, we take it and then adore them very nicely. And then we want to do anything for them. They are giving such happiness to us. Likewise, here, when Krishna is in his form, and his gentles, his smiles, his character, and everything, we wanted to give ourselves to Krishna completely. In such a way, Anichitavami Gatim Anviyam Prayunte Krutatmano Kruta Pranam Bhakti. He wanted to give Krutatmano Kruta Pranam Bhakti, everything to Krishna. Then Anichitavami, even though he doesn't desire, Anichitavami Gatim Anviyam Prayunte, he will attain all kinds of liberations and association of the Lord in the spiritual abode just by meditating on his form, his gentle. So just meditating on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is his words. Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Lord. Okay, so likewise, Uddhava is describing about Lord's and also Charitrena Anavadhyena Shriniketena Chatmana. Charitrena Anavadhyena, his character is flawless. So Bhishmadev mentions Sarvatmana Samadrushohi Adbhayasya Anaham Krutehe Tatkrutam Mativaishamyam Nirvajyasya na kvachit. And whatever the Lord has done in his past times throughout, there is no flaw at all. O Yudhishthira. And Lord, you may be thinking that Lord is acting partiality towards one person and impartially something like that. There is nothing like that. He is the Samadrishohi. He is the equally. He is equipoised towards all the living entities. Tatkritam Mativaishamyam. There is no flaw in his treatment to the living entities. Tatkritam Mativaishyam Nirvajyasana Kvachit at any point of time during his acts. Okay, so that is the Charitrena Anavadhyena, flawless character, flawless history. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Uddhava is mentioning that Snigdha Smitavalokena Vacha Piyusha Kalpaya Charitrena Anavadhyena Shriniketena Chatmana. Okay, so many things to describe, but that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Bali Madana, August 25th, 1970, Tokyo. It is a bit large letter. So can I request Meena Mataji half and then Usha Mataji half. So Meena 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. Meena Mataji read 4 paragraphs and then Usha Mataji rest of the paragraphs, please. Hare Krishna, Meena Mataji.
Hare Krishna. My dear Bali Madan, please accept my blessing. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated Neil and your reference to Srila Vyasadeva on his Vyas Puja Day is very significant. Srila Vyasadeva is the original spiritual master for anyone who is following the Vedic way of spiritual realization. Spiritual master is the representative of Vyasadeva because he carries the message of Vyasadeva throughout the world. As you know, it as you know it very well that Vyasadeva combined all Vedic literature wonderfully. Sometimes so-called realist philosophers do not believe that there was any person of the name Vyasadeva. Their opinion is that any person distributing the Vedic knowledge is called Vyasadeva. This class of philosophy generally being impersonalist cannot appreciate how one man could write so many books. Actually, it is astonishing. Before Vyasadeva, all the Vedic scriptures were taught and received verbally by the disciplic succession. Both the student and the spiritual master of those ages were so sharp in their memory that once they heard the transcendental message from the spiritual master, the message was immediately imprinted in their brain as vivid as a written language. For example, Sukdev Goswami was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam extra, extrapotently, extremepotently, the whole the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses were difficult to pronounce even, and what to speak of memorizing, were narrated very easily, just like reading some printing book. He narrated the whole subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam continuously, continuously for 7 days, and Maharaj Pariksit also understood the subject matter very clearly. Both of them were so meritorious that they attained the highest goal of life, namely the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, simply by reciting and hearing representatively. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. I think one more paragraph, Mataji, please.
Of course, that time was just the moment when Kali, the predominantly deity of the present age, was preparing to infiltrate in the worldly affair, and later on it was completely through, through the exigency of any upstart from Brahmana boy. So Vyasdeva was a real person accepted by all authorities, and anyone can judge how wonderful he was complying the Vedic literature. He is therefore known as Mahamuni. Muni means throughout Muni means thoughtful or great thinker or great poet, and Maha means still greater. So there is no comparison with Vyasdeva with any writer or thinker or philosopher. Nobody can estimate the scholar importance of Srila Vyasudeva. He composed many millions of Sanskrit words, and we are just trying to receive a fragmental knowledge out of them by our tiny effort only. Srila Vyasdeva therefore summarizing the whole Vedic knowledge in the sap of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as the repent fruit of the desired tree known as Vedic knowledge. The ripe ripened fruit is received hand to hand through disciple succession, and anyone who does this work in disciplic succession from Srila Vyasudeva is considered as representative of Vyasadeva, and as such the bona fide spiritual master appearance day is worshipped as Vyas Puja. Not only that, the accelerated seat, seat on which the spiritual master sit is also called Vyasana. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Srila
Krishna. Thank
Prabhupada
you,
ki.
Mataji. Kindly contemplate on those points that you have read. I'll come back to you, Mataji, once
Yeah,
again.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so here mainly was
Once,
took.
once,
Sorry, here
one.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So here Prabhupada mainly said about the Vyasadeva, that how Vyasadeva has combined all this Vedic literature and all this, Mm, uh,
Yeah, once
just,
I'll come back. I'll just send that link to you in the Zoom chat. So you contemplate on that points for now, while Usha Mataji reads the rest of the letter.
okay.
And then once Mataji completes, you speak on that reflections, and then
Oh, sorry. I thought you want to speak. Sorry.
yeah, it is a Prabhupada's letter. Okay,
So after somebody read, then I can say
yeah,
summarize.
I
Okay.
just
Sorry. I thought you want me to do it first. Okay. Sorry.
yeah, okay. Usha Mataji, would
Yes.
you like
Yeah.
to continue reading?
In the Mayavadi Sampradaya, they observe the Guru Purnima day, offer respect to the spiritual master. This system of offering respect to the spiritual master is current in all sections of Vedic followers. But so far as we are the Gaudiya Sampradaya is concerned, we offer on the appearance day of the spiritual master our humble homage annually, and this particular auspicious moment is called Vyas Puja. I have received the painting of my Guru Maharaj. It is very nicely done. Please convey my thanks to the God. I have immediately placed this painting on my deity altar. Yes, this attitude of surrendering to the spiritual master is the best qualification of spreading this movement of Lord Chaitanya. That is the Vedic way. One should have unflinching faith and in Krishna and similarly in the spiritual master. That that is the way of understanding the secret of Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, attempt has been made lately in our society to shake this formula. This mischievous attempt has done a great harm, but if you, the member of the governing body commission, can rectify this mischievous attempt, then still there is hope of making our progress uninterruptedly. I hope Krishna will help us. There are two verses in the Chanakya sloka: how a family or an institution can be glorified or burned into ashes by the person. The Chanakya Pandit says that if there is one tree in the forest producing nice aromatic flower, that one tree can glorify the whole forest by the flavor of its flower. Similarly, if there is one tree in whose cavity there is a little fire, that one tree can burn into ashes the whole forest. So this smile, as this simile is applicable anywhere. In a family, if there is one good boy, he can glorify the whole family, and similarly, if there is a bad boy, he can turn the whole family into ashes. Similarly, in this institution, if there is a bad disciple, he can burn the whole institution into ashes. The governing body commission's duty is therefore to see that every member is following the rules and regulations and chanting 16 rounds regularly on the beats. I hope the GBC in cooperation with the sannyasis in their turning program will be able to keep vigilance systematically in order to keep the society as pure as possible. I hope this will make you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So kindly reflect on those points, take your points with the link I have sent. And meanwhile, Meena Mataji is going to describe about the takeaway points from this letter. Prabhupada gives some philosophy in this one to Bali Madan. Meena Mataji?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes. So, yeah. Well, Imadan Prabhupada was saying that mm, mm, he's just asking what is the Vyas Deva on this Vyas Puja. Yeah. And then he just mentioning that, like, by explaining that Vyasadeva is our spiritual master, representing of all, like, all these things, because Vyasadeva has written all the sloka and all the, like, literatures and everything, and then that's why we call this day is a Vyas Puja day. And also Prabhupada is also mentioning that here. mm, uh, like before, like, like many years before that, there was no uh, anything was written or anything like that, but everybody can remember. They are so sharp and everything, so they can remember all the sloka and everything by heart, like, without anywhere to look or anything like that. And then he just give an example of Sukdev Maharaj. That Sukdev, like, it's just print there in their mind that this is, and then he gave example of Sukdev Maharaj, and that Sukdev Maharaj, that how he has said this Bhagavatam to Pariksit Maharaj, without looking or without any, because there are so many sloka, like 18,000 sloka, but how to remember that? But he has just said everything, like, Pariksit, all this. So yeah, that was there before, but in the Kali Yuga, this everything is written by Vyasdeva, and they just explained that. And, like, before it was taught and received verbally, but yeah, but now it's just, and then yeah, then he just, like, how Sukdev Maharaj has said this Bhagavatam 7 days continuously, like, and yeah, so this was something mentioned here. And then yeah, and then in the Kali Yuga, like, it was impossible. So yeah, so Vyasadeva has given all this, like, uh, literature and all this, and in all, like, and complying this Vedic literature, and that was he's like Mahamuni, like, and he just given the Muni means thoughtful or great thinker or great poet, and Maha means still greater. So he just given what is Mahamuni, and then and then he has composed many millions of Sanskrit verse, and then at the end he also, like, Bhagavatam, where Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as the repeat food of the desired tree. So yeah, he just given this as well, and that's why. And then that's why he just mentioned that anyone, like, follow this disciplic succession, and there's this work is called Disciple Successors from Srila Vyasadeva, and that's why, this spiritual master who can give this knowledge, and that's why there was done the Vyas Puja, like, and that was followed Vyas Puja, and then this is also, like, called like Vyas Asana, and the spiritual master sit on that asana which called Vyasasana. Yes, Hare Krishna. I think this is
Hey,
something
thank you so
similar.
much, Mataji. Very nicely explained. Okay, so Usha Mataji wanted to continue reflecting those points and Prabhupada's letter.
Uh, so the takeaway point is probably that when the Mayavadi Sampradaya, they observe the Vyas Puja on the Guru Purnima day for all any guru. So they do on Guru Purnima day. But the Prabhupada say in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we do Vyas Puja on the appearance day of the spiritual master. So that is the auspicious moment for the guru to we can then do the puja for then it's called Vyas Puja for the guru. And he was mentioning about the who was the spiritual masters is the best qualification of spreading the movement of there is a Lord Chaitanya's movement. And Prabhupada mentioning about that who's like a Chanakya Shloka, mentioning about the two Chanakya Shlokas. So how the person can, one person can burning into ashes, like if that bad boy in the family, so he can destroy the whole family, and then one boy is a good, then he described the family is good. So and then Prabhupada gives the example that Chanakya Shloka, they said one in the one tree in the forest, it is like carrying the aromatic flavor. So that all yes, flowers can get that smell. And then if there is a one have a cavity in the forest, and then if it's a burn, then he can burn the whole forest. So that is like is applied to anywhere, like in material life also. So is if the one person in like even though this one is in member of that even in spiritual law, if there is a one person, one disciple is very bad, then he can burn whole institution. So that that be very bad for that that institution. So we have to be Prabhupada said to be careful, like giving the example. And yeah, so they have to, the governing body has to look that person can chant the 16 rounds, follow the regulatory principle, so they can Prabhupada said he can, the governing body can cooperation with the program to spread the Krishna consciousness. So, and then he mentioned about that the one girl sent the picture of the Guru Maharaj, and then Prabhupada said, I said, put it on the state to deity altar. Prabhupada is that mentioning that also. Yes, Professor. Main thing is have to follow the regulatory principle and chant 16 rounds.
Okay, thank you so
Yes.
much, Mataji. Usha Mataji and Meena Mataji. So beautifully explained. We got Kim Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Kim Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for joining. Okay, so this is our Sangha. So we do japa here, and then one shloka of Bhagavatam, and then one Prabhupada's letter. So this is our structure. And thank you for joining, Prabhuji. So would you like to say a few words about yourself and we have come here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, Tanut Pranam. Actually, I was late to join, and let me hear today. I will be participating by tomorrow.
Yes. So we
Let
have
me.
yes.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes. So this session goes all 365 days. Early morning, 5:30 to 6:30 is japa session, and then
Okay.
6:30 to around 7 o'clock. It is one shloka plus Prabhupada's one letter.
Fine. Yeah.
And then after that, in weekdays, Monday to Friday, we continue with our japa after 7 o'clock, as long as at least two devotees are there.
Okay.
And Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
after 7 o'clock, we speak on some special Bhagavatam topics on Saturday morning.
After 7.
And yes, Saturday after 7 o'clock, special Bhagavatam topics. Apart from normal daily Bhagavatam, special Bhagavatam topics. And the Sunday mornings after 7 o'clock, we also discuss on the Ramayana or Bhagavatam shlokas. It is fortnightly. So
Very nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is our structure. And our Sangha has been there for 7 years, continuously going on. So I think today, I think there are some events are going on, so devotees are not many here today. But
Yeah.
it is the
Yeah.
Nityam Bhagavata Seva. It should not be stopped. It must be
Yeah.
going on as Prabhupada mentions.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for letting me to join the group. So I'll be trying to be regular by tomorrow. So
Sure. Thank you so much, Kim Prabhuji. It is very nice to have you here, and we are fortunate to be here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so in this Prabhupada's letter to Balimadhan, during this time, so Balimadhan has raised some questions. It is 1970, Prabhupada writing letter from Tokyo, and Balimadhan Prabhuji was in the New Vrindavan, it looks, as of that point of time. So he has raised some questions and asking some clarifications Prabhupada about the Vyasadeva and all those things. Whether Vyasadeva has composed so many literatures like that, how it is possible for him. So this is the question. So Prabhupada is answering for all of those things. Vyas Puja Day. Generally, Mayavadis, they celebrate on the Vyas Puja on the birthday of Vyasadeva. And whereas in the Gaudi Sampradaya, they celebrate birthdays on the birthday of spiritual master. Okay, so that is our Sampradaya. But at the same time, we also respect the birthday of Vyasadeva as well. Okay, so that is one thing. And there is a proper mentions, even if we see practically see, there is no comparison to Vyasadevas in terms of compiling all that many number of scriptures in the historical perspective. At any point of time, there is no comparison. So he is called Mahamuni. He is a Paravarajnaha. So he knows present, past, and future. So he is the incarnation of God, Vyasadeva. ततः सप्तदशि जातः सत्त्वच्चां पराशरत् चक्रे वेतरोः शाखा दृष्ट्वा पुंसो अल्पमेधसः. So it is the 17th incarnation of the Lord and born to Satyavati and Parashara. And he has compiled all these scriptures for the sake of people who are of Alpamedasa, very less intelligent. They cannot remember few things even for a long time. So Alpamedasa, he has performed compiling all the scriptures. He is the Mahamuni. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kurte Kim va Paririshvaraha Sajjogijorjire Puthibihi Sustrushubihi Tachana. So he is the Mahamuni. Okay, and then so here his son Sukadeva Goswami, he has received all the knowledge. Tadjidam Grahayama Sasutumatmatambaram Sarva Ved Itihasaram Saram Saram Samudritam. He has received all the essence of all the Vedas from his father. Saram Saram Samudritam. And that was spoken to Parikshit Maharaj. Satasamsravayamasa Maharajam Parikshitam Prayopavesham Gangayam Paritam Paramarshabhihi. And when he was surrounded by all of the great sages throughout the universe, that Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami onto Maharaja Parikshit. So at that time, even Suta Goswami was also present there. तत्र कीर्तयेत् विप्रविप्रस्य भूरि तेजसः अहं च अर्जुनं तत्र निविष्टः तदनुगृहात् सोऽहं वा श्रावयिष्यामि यथादीतं यथामति. And Suta Goswami was speaking to Saunakadi sages in another Sangha, saying that, O Saunakadi sages, I was also present when Sukadeva Goswami was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit, when surrounded by all other sages like Narada, Vyasa, and many other sages. At that time, I was also present there. I was Nivishtahat Anugrahat. I was focusedly hearing and grasping all whatever Sukadeva Goswami was mentioning. And now I'm going to speak to you, O Saunakadi sages, likewise Suta Goswami mentions that Srimad Bhagavatam 7 days continuously went on when Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So they were they were grasping in a just, they did not have to wait and think, okay, what kind of questions and clarifications they would be needing. It is not like that. So whoever is speaking, Shrota is expert, and also whoever is hearing, they're also expert in extracting. So here, Both of them were so meritorious that they attained the highest goal of life, namely the lotus feet of the Lord Shri Krishna, simply by reciting and hearing respectively. They are the exalted personality. So they were very sharp in getting this knowledge. But in this age of Kali, Prayan Alpashaha, everyone or less living people. Prayan Alpashaha Sadhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha. Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha. This is the age of quarrel. Mandaha Sumandamatayo Mandabhagyahi Upidrutaha. They're always lazy and misguided, misfortune. Mandaha Sumandamatayo Mandabhagyahi Upidrutaha, always tormented by so many calamities. This is very unfortunate. So, in this particular age, we got this Srimad Bhagavatam. कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न सदृशामेष पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः. When Krishna has departed to his abode with Allah, Krishna स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह, and the dharma, jnana, everything along here, they also went along with Krishna. After that, to give light to this material world, the Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared just like the sun. In the dark world, whenever sun comes, everything shines. Likewise, when Srimad Bhagavatam appears, it can be enlightening all the people who have taken the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, that is the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. It has compiled, it is the ripened fruit. Nigamakalpa tarorghalitam palam sukmukat amrita drava samvitam pivita bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Is the taror nirg nigama kalpa taror ghalitam. Nigama is the Veda and taror ghalitam palam. It is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavad Gita also Saropanishado Gavo Dhogdha Gopalanandanaha Padavatyah Siddhibhokta Dugdham Gita Amrutam. So Krishna Bhagavad Gita spoke. This is extracting all the essence of all the Vedas and he has given Bhagavad Gita. That is one kind of Amrutam, nectar for us to drink. And the Srimad Bhagavatam about Krishna. It is also the essence of all the Vedas. It is also nectarian. Pibata Bhagavatam, one has to drink through his eyes. Pibanti Atmanaha Katam Satam Katamrutam. This is again Sukadeva Goswami mentioned. And Punantite Visha Vidushasayam, Punantite Vidusha, he mentions, what is that shloka? Pibantiye Bhagavata Atmanah Katam Satam Samrut. It comes somewhere. But whoever drinks this nectar, so once he is purifying his material contaminations, at the same time, he will take the lotus feet of the Lord. In so many ways, it is described very nicely. But one has to come in the Guru Parampara to receive that knowledge without any spillage. Just hand to hand, mouth to the mouth. Likewise, this knowledge has been coming from the Guru Parampara. Evam Parampara Praptum Imam Rajashyo Viduhu Sakalena Mahata Yogo Nashtaha Parantapa. So whenever Krishna says that this Bhagavad Gita also came from, he spoke to the Vivaswan and then from that Rajashis, it has been descending. And Evam Parampara Praptum Imam Rajashyo Viduhu Sakalena Mahata, because it was lost. Sakalena Mahata Yogo Nashtaha. Yogo Nashtaha, it was lost. That's why again Krishna spoke the same Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And the similar way, this is the knowledge about the Puranas. And it is the very bygone ages, like all these Puranas and belonging to the current ages, like the Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Kali Yuga, and this Manvantara, this Chatur Yuga, previous Chatur Yugas, and then Manvantaras, and previous Manvantaras, and this Kalpa, previous Kalpas, like that. These are all summarized in these Puranas and these are scriptures. Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all those Puranas. So one has to take the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the way of life. It contains all the knowledge. Okay, so that is Prabhupada is describing to Balimardhan here. And whoever is representing Vyasadev, he would be speaking as it is. Whatever Guru speak, he just only repeats. He does not add any mental speculations or his personal opinions like that. So he just whatever he has taken, he just only speak that one. Evam parampara praptam. Okay, and also Prabhupada is mentioning whenever spiritual master is giving some instructions, you need to follow those instructions as it is with unflinching faith, and you should not introduce any new opinions or something like that. So Prabhupada is mentioning there is an attempt, um, unfortunate attempt has been made lately in our society to shake this formula. This mischievous attempt has done a great harm, but if you, the members of the GBC or Governing Body Commission, can rectify this mischievous attempt, then still there is a hope of making our progress uninterruptedly. I hope Krishna will help us. So we should not disturb this Guru Parampara system. It needs to be continued all the time. Okay, so that is without deviation. So, in order to carry that one has to be pure enough by following the chanting of 16 rounds on the beats every day and follow the four regulative principles and stay among the devotees association and disconnect from the materialistic people who are of womanly nature or all bad habits, sinful activities. We need to detach from the sinful people first and then associate with the pure devotees who are of the similar character, flawless character. Okay, so Prabhupada is giving one simile here. This simile is about a beautiful flower tree. If it is in the forest, it will glorify the forest. If a tree which is about to burn to the ashes, it is a cavity that for a little fire, then it will burn the entire forest. Likewise, if a good person is there, he will enlighten this entire family and dynasty. If there is a bad boy born in the family, he will do in the family into ashes. Similarly, if there is a good disciple in a Guru Parampara, like Srila Prabhupada, this entire Guru Parampara will be glorified. If there is one bad disciple, he will burn the whole institution into the ashes. Prabhupada is giving that simile here. So be careful. Now, in order to be careful, that can be exhibited by following the rules and regulations and chanting 16 rounds regularly on beats. It will keep you in the pure so that you will not fall, you would not make any mistakes. So Prabhupada is just giving all these instructions to Bali Madhan. And GBC, in cooperation with the sannyasi in their touring program, will be able to keep vigilance systematically in order to keep the society as pure as possible. As pure as possible. So sannyasis are meant to wander and then preach Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Parivrajika, they are called Parivrajika. Sannyasis are four categories. One is Kutichika, second level is Bahodaka, third level is Parivrajika, fourth level is the Paramahamsa. So in the Kutichika, he stays nearer to the family and taking help from the family for the financial help and food and clothes, but he does not live in the family. And second level is Bahudaka. He does not take anything from family and then he will beg from the villages or the town people in the towns like that. And then third level is he thinks that I'm receiving this from the public, but I have to give something, and then he preaches and wanders and then preaches whatever the knowledge he has gained. That is the Parirajikacharya. And we also say that Astotra, uh, this is Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaychan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That Parivrajika means just wandering around the world preaching Krishna consciousness. That is Parivrajika. That is third level. Fourth level is the Paramahamsa. So once he is done with that preaching uh, program, comes back to the Aboda, that is the Dhamas like Vrindavan Dham, and then he stays there for the rest of his life and then dovetailing all his memories and pastimes of the Lord and sharing with all his disciples. That is the Paramhamsa experience, the highest bliss, Paramhamsa stage. So it will have to go gradually. Not that one has to gain the knowledge and immediately become a Parahamsa. That is not the proper way. So this is the 4 levels: Kutichika, Bahudaka, Parivrajaka, and then Paramhamsa. Okay, so that is about this Prabhupada's letter. So much of knowledge in this one. And dear devotees, if you have got any questions or anything to share on this letter, kindly share or kindly ask. Okay, so if there are no questions, that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so tomorrow evening, so morning sessions or no changes, everything goes as it is systematically. And even tomorrow evening, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Monday, and Tuesday, it is preaching practice session at 8 p.m. But Radha Sekhar Mataji is not there tomorrow evening, so we will conduct by ourselves. Okay, so that is the update from me. And the devotees, if you have got any updates or you wanted to share anything, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall move to the Ramayana. Okay, we shall move on. So we have been discussing Ramayana in the last session. Bharata, he has come to the Ayodhya and then he understood the sequence of activities and then he has performed the cremation to Dashrath Maharaj. And then now he wanted to bring Lord Ramachandra uh, back to the Ayodhya. So this is part 2 and then Bharata's written, we shall bring Rama back. So this is the chapter. So I think we are near to this. So this and then he spoke to Vasistha, and then Vasistha is going to speak to Bharat Maharaj about how we need to go and bring Ramachandra back to the Ayodhya. So this is the one. So just before that incident, so Shatrugna wanted to punish Mandara, but Bharata did not like because it is not the wish of even Ramchandra also because women cannot be punished like that. And then Shatrugna did not do anything. Later on, Kaikeyi realized that whatever previously Dasharatha was speaking when Kaikeyi was asking the two boons to send Ramchandra to the forest and make Bharata as the king. So during those words, during that time, Dasharatha spoke some words. You have come here and ruining your family by yourself. You would not get any happiness. And then Bharata, when he was not even accepting his mother, Kaikeyi is reflecting on those words of Dasharath Maharaj. Okay, so in such a way, after Bharata did not like Kaikeyi, his mother, and Bharata spoke to Shatrugna, just release that Mandara, do not worry about Mandara. So Ramchandra does not punish such kind of men like that. So now Kaikeyi is also very fearfully looking at Shatrugna also during that time. And then further, we shall move on. What else has happened? Bharata wanting installed him as the king. So this is the what we will continue further. So can I request the devotees to take turns and read page of paragraphs, please? So 3 paragraphs. Meena Mataji, would you like to read 3 paragraphs, please?
Hare Krishna. On the 14th day after the funeral, the king's counselor confirmed and they spoke with Bharata, wanting to wanting to install him as king. They said, "As your elder brother has gone to the forest along with Lakshmana, therefore will be no sin in your superseding him and accepting the throne. Therefore, O level Therefore, O dweller amongst men, he considered be considered consecrated as our ruler, we ruler, pro, ruler and protect us with justice and compassion." The counselor showed Bharata the seat and coronation. Param, the counselor showed Bharata the seat and coronation paraphernalia which has been prepared for Ram's installing exactly as Ram has done. However, Bharata walked around the seat However, the Bharata walks around the seat in respect and said, "I shall never accept the kingdom passing over the pious Ram. All of you know well the rule in our race. The kingship is always conferred upon the eldest brother. Therefore, Rama will be the ruler of this earth. Let a large and powerful army be made ready, for we shall go to always confirm upon the eldest brother, therefore Rama will be the ruler of this earth. Let a large and powerful army be made ready, for we shall go to the forest to bring back Rama. Bharata pointed in the paraphernalia, taking all these items, we shall perform Rama coronation even in the forest. You may then bring him back in honor as the king. I myself shall remain there in his place for 14 years. I shall never allow my mother to realize her wicked ambition. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, Bharata, even he was again telling by distinct counselors that, oh Bharata, so now because in the absence of Ramchandra, so you are as good as Rama to rule the kingdom. Likewise, your elder brother has gone to the forest along with Lakshman. Therefore, there will be no sin in your superseding him and accepting the throne. So they are just encouraging Bharata too. But here, Bharata did not like that idea. And then he just went to the throne and then just taking the protection around it, which has been prepared for him, and then walked around the seat and respect and said, I shall never accept the kingdom passing over the pious Ramachandra. So this is the rule. A elder brother, he is as good as the father. One has to follow the instructions of the elder brother in the absence of the father. You should not say any opposite words to the elder brother as well. So that is the tradition. So here, Bharata, he is just following exactly as per the Vedic injunctions. So this is the Raghuvamsha. That's why um, whenever Krishna was speaking in the Bhagavad Gita that imam vivaspate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivaswan manave praha manur ikshvakve bhavi ikshvaku. So Manu spoke to the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Ikshvaku. In that Ikshvaku family dynasty, Ramachandra has appeared, and but this is the knowledge is there in that lineage. So they know perfectly equipped with all the Vedic knowledge. So Bharata did not like that idea to accept the throne without Ramachandra. So Ramachandra will be ruler of this earth. Let large and powerful army be made ready for we shall go to the forest to bring back Rama. So now Bharata is determined, taking all the paraphernalia for Rama's coronation in the forest. I will. So Ramachandra is there in the forest for 14 years exile. So instead of Ramchandra, I will be there in his position. So how Bharata is exemplary character in the Ramayana. Okay, so we shall move on. Uh, can I request Kim Prabhuji, are you ready to read this one? If you are available. Okay, if not, do not worry. So, Usha Mataji, would you like to read next page of paragraphs?
Yes, Prabhu. Bharata became enlivened as he contemplated the possibility of bringing Ram home. He felt sure that Ram could be convinced to return when he saw Bharata coming to get him with all the people of Ayodhya. He ordered that expert architects and engineers construct a road to the forest. The work should begin immediately, and they would leave as soon as possible. All the Brahmin counselors applauded Bharata, saying, "Very good, it shall be done." They blessed Bharata, and he felt delighted in mind. He face, uh, his face lit up with joy, and tears flowed from his eyes. Thinking of Ram and his imminent returns, everyone found their grief dispelled. Thousands of skilled men were employed in the task of building the road. Absorbed in thoughts of Ram, they worked swiftly, leveling the land to lay out a broad road paved with great slabs of red stone. The work was carried out as quickly as possible. Wells were dug and large ponds excavated. Trees were planted along the edge of the road to provide shade, and fragrant gardens were laid out at intervals. The great highway was decorated with festoons and sprinkled with scented mortar mixed with sandalwood paste. Along the way, tent encampments enclosed by wide moats were erected erected for the army. Temples were constructed and images of Vishnu and the gods were installed and worshipped. In some places, wealthy men had mansions built wealthy men had mansions built and villages grew up around these houses. The road extended from Ayodhya all the way to the Ganges, strewn with various forest flowers. It appeared like a pathway made by the gods and leading to the heavens. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So very nicely read. So this part, it is shows how the Bharata, and here that is a devastation time when Dasharatha has left and then he was cremated. Now Kaikeyi has done so many things, and now it is a uh, unhappy time. So during the time he wanted to bring Ramachandra, immediately the mind become enlightened. So see, he felt delighted in the mind to bring Ramachandra. So this is what happens in inauspicious times. We need to bring the holy people first, the gurus, spiritual masters. Then everyone will be delighted in the mind first, and things will be automatically set. But especially bring Krishna devotees into the home in very the difficult times or inauspicious times, like someone has passed and then like that. But one has to perform such kind of activities. He wanted to bring Ramchandra immediately. Everyone are appreciating. Very good. It shall be done. They blessed Bharata and then he felt delighted in mind. And so his face lit up with joy and tears flowed from his eyes. So one side is sadness, but here he is bringing the happiness as well, thinking of Rama and his imminent return. Everyone found their grief dispel. See, this is what is required. When one is in grief, he cannot think properly. He is always in lamentation and grief. That will take the energy out of one's body and mind and also intelligence. It cannot work properly. First, that grief needs to be dispelled. That comes whenever Rama is there. Just by remembering the Rama, thinking of Rama only, that everyone's found their grief dispelled. Just that's why we hear Asesam Klesa Samam Viditte Gunanuvada Shravanam Murarehe Kim Vah Punatha Charanaravindha Paraga Seva Ratiratmalabdha. Just by hearing the Krishna Katha, Krishna's names, his qualities, names, forms, and his pastimes, one's grief will be dispelled. Asesh Samklesha Samam Vidatte Gunanuvada Shravanam Murarehe. And if one is engaging in the devotional service, Kimva Punatha Charana who is engaging in the devotional service, specifically what to speak of about his glories, because he's practically executing devotional service, preaching and doing some service in the temple. Because when he is acting in such a capacity, he will never forget. He is doing only for Krishna. So there is no question of grief. It is always joy. The grief is already dispelled, and further joy is coming into his life. That is devotional service. One side is grief is going to be dispelled, and another side is happiness. Okay, so just by thinking of Rama. And thousands of the skilled men were employed in this task of building the road, absorbed in thoughts of Rama. See, this is what we need to do. We need to construct the roads and cities, not because that people will be just roaming there. That is not the purpose. But in the thoughts of Ramachandra, to serve Ramachandra, if you are establishing one road, it must be towards the temple, not towards the peoples and public place, go to the shopping, not like that. It should be in the thought of Ramachandra for the temples and pilgrimage places like that. If that is the purpose, then there is no harm when having the shops next to the road. But road is meant for Ramachandra, to the temples, not for the only shopping centers. First thing is the purpose must be established. The objective must be established properly and clearly. So when the government is passing a bill or putting everything, if they keep Krishna as the center, Rama as the center, and for the pleasure of Rama and Krishna, then all these budgets and everything will be properly aligned. And if they think that we want to do good for the people, they can never do any good for the people with the absence of Rama and Krishna. Okay, so here, observing thoughts of Rama, they worked swiftly leveling the land to lay out a broad road paved with great slabs and red stone. So it gives how the architects are designing these roads. And the work was carried out as quickly as possible. And wells were dug and large ponds were excavated. So wells are required for the sweet water, so to drink, and large ponds excavated for there are so many animals are also come. They also wanted to drink water. So these are all essential things. Trees were planted along the edge of the road to provide a shade. And these horses and elephants, they are also need to lie under the trees and take rest when they're going for a long distance. And also the people, we see there are so many trees. So it was the custom, but nowadays whenever some politician comes, they will cut the trees. That is so abominable act. If they're cutting one tree, so many plants have to be, at least 100 trees needs to be planted. So that should be the custom. So trees were planted along the side of the road to provide shade, and fragrant gardens were laid out at intervals. Gardens, and the great highway was decorated with festoons and sprinkled with scented water mixed with sandalwood paste. So this is always required. Even when Krishna was entering into Dwarka, all Dwarka people, they are decorating uh, everything like that. So it was mentioning सर्वत्र ऋतु सर्वविभव पुण्य वृक्ष लताश्रमैः Udyana Upavana Aramaihi Vrita Padmakara Shriyam. And so many lotus ponds in the Dwarka. Udyana Upavana Aramaihi. Aramaihi is the pleasure gardens and beautiful parks. Padmakara Vrita Shriyam. Padmakara. And the ponds decorated with all the lotus flowers. Shriyam, increasing the beauty. So that is how Dwarka people are inviting Krishna, and Dwarka is so beautiful. It is again further described. Gopura Dwara Margeshu Kruta Kautaka Toranam Chitra Dvaja Patagagrehi Antaha Pritihata Atapam. And they have decorated all these roads. Gopura Dwarga Margeshu, and in Gopuras, and sometimes uh, wherever kings have ruled, for example, in the place where I live, in the Chandragiri, in the Andhra Pradesh, there is Chandragiri, where the emperor of Vijayanagara, Sri Krishna Devaraya, when he was ruling, when going through that road, there are mandapas are there. So it is to take the rest. When people are walking, they need to take some rest. So that was constructed, and very gigantic walls are laid around the big forest, big hill, and the fort is in middle of that uh, construction, and there is a that wall is constructed going on top of the hill so that no one can enter into that, and also that big wall has got so many of security spots. If anyone is coming outside, so they will be having the Ferengis, those missiles to kill them, like that. It is, if we see that bricks of that big gigantic walls in such a way, at least 10 feet length and 5 feet width, that much of gigantic rocks, solid rocks. We cannot even imagine how those people have lifted that big rocks in those days and constructed big walls. It is unimaginable. So we used to hear that they have got some mystic powers, and during the night time, these big stones, they are all sleep and they will become lightweight. And people, workers, they used to construct these walls very easily. And then what about the remuneration? And they will go and dig. There is this, again some river banks where the nice sand is there, and the mystic powers, they work in such a way, they will go and dig their the sand. They will find their wealth as for according to their work. If they have worked hard, they will get their money accordingly, some gold coins. If worked for throughout the day perfectly, he may get 10 gold coins, like that. But he has worked but not hard, very light work, he may get only 5 gold coins in his search. These were very beautiful to hear. So just I'm explaining those things, how those previous days they have decorated, how secured, and how they have established roads and mandapas and ponds, water wells, and in the within these forts, the houses are also beautifully constructed, like the cities, Dwaraka city, and like here, and decorated with festoons and sprinkled with the scented water, all these things. And Sammajita Mahamargaratya Apanka Chatvaram Siktam Gandha Jalehi Uptam Palapushpakshita Ankurehi. They have sprinkled with scented water. Siktam Gandha Jalehi Uptam, sprinkled with the scented water. Palapushpakshita Ankurehi. And also the flowers are all sprinkled in that road. Pala Pushpa, and also fruits. Pala Pushpa, Akshata. Akshatas are the rice mixed with the turmeric and then sprinkled all over. It is all auspicious. Ankurehi, the seeds. So this is along the way the tent encampments and enclosed by wide moats were erected for the army, so that they can establish their tents and then take rest for night and then continue the journey the next day morning. And temples were constructed and images of Vishnu and gods were installed and worshipped. See? So this is the main purpose. When we are going, we must see only the temples, not the bars and pubs like that. Temples were constructed, images of Vishnu and gods were installed and worshipped. This is the perfect way of economic development. All the economic development around the temple, not through the pubs or the shopping malls or the factories. They will produce only the human waste, and all this human energy is being wasted through the. If you spend some 1,000 pounds on your phone, what happens? In due course of time, 1,000 pounds will become diminished to zero. If you invest that 1,000 pounds on a gold, its value will always be increased. And at the same time, if you have this gold on your body, somewhere or other, it is auspicious to you. But whereas these phones, it will only harm. Being healthy is very cheap and simple, and being a diseased way of life, it is so expensive. Having a bigger houses and everything else, all your human energy is maintaining all those things and buying all the rubbish and eating and then ruining the health. It is very expensive. So here, everything here, if you say, temples were constructed and images of Vishnu and gods were installed and worshipped. That is the way of life. Wherever we go, we see the temples. In the southern India, we see so many temples, especially in the Tamil Nadu. So many thousands of temples are there. Wherever we go, every state there is one temple. Okay, so that is, and also similarly in Vrindavana, all Krishna temples, everyone, Thakurji's temples, very beautiful, and Ladliji. Okay, so in some places, wealthy men and mansions built and villages grew up around these houses. And the road extended from Ayodhya will all the way to the Ganges. All the way to the Ganges. See, now we see the expansion of the town and cities here. This is now sometimes ring roads, that inner ring road, outer ring road, something like that they construct. So this is likewise it happened in the Ramayana period itself. And strewn with various forest flowers, it appeared like a pathway made by the gods and leading to the heavens. Just see, this is how Bharata is arranging everything for where, and while they are absorbed in the thoughts of Rama to bring Rama from the forest to the Ayodhya. So beautiful. Just to hear itself so pleasing. Okay, so we shall move to the next page of paragraphs. Gauringi Mataji, would you like to read next 3 paragraphs, please? If you're available.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Within less than a month, the road was complete. Bharata, Suman, Sumantra, and ordered him to have the army prepared to leave. In great eagerness, the army um, chiefs prepared everything for the journey to the forest, mounting upon his own golden car, drawn by 6 pairs of horse. Bharata set out from the city. He was followed by 9,000 elephants, 60,000 chariots, and 100,000 infantry. All the royal counselors and priests com- accompanied him, as well as Dasaratha's 3 wives. The the procession from Ayodhya consisted of thousands of citizens of all classes. It made its way slowly towards the forest. Merchants set out shop and artisans and craftsmen of all kind build their trade along the road. Thousands of Brahmins, their minds absorbed in meditation, followed the procession on bullock cars, uh, uttering benedictions and prayers. After some days, Bharata arrived near Singamara, where Rama's friend Guha lived, halting on the brink of the Ganges. And the prince said of camp, Bharata descended from his chariot along with Shatrughan and went down to the sorry, there was just someone coming. um, s- and went down to the river bank where he lays down in prostrated uh, absence along with his brother and Dasharatha's wives. He offered Ganges water to the king desolated soul. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here in this page, so after a road is constructed towards the forest from Ayodhya, and Bharata he called Sumantra. Sumantra is the minister for Dasharatha, and he knows many of the pastimes as well, because he knows what is going to happen in the future, and he knows past historical things. And he instructed Sumantra to have the army prepared to leave. So he is going to take some of the Ayodhya people as well along with him in the journey. So he mounted on his golden cart drawn by 6 pairs of horses. Bharata set out from the city. He was followed by the 9,000 elephants. How big it is! 9,000 elephants. Elephants itself is 9,000. And 60,000 chariots. Oh my god, 60,000 chariots. We cannot even fit for so many miles. 60,000 chariots and 100,000 infantry. And then all the royal counselors and priests accompanied him, as well as Dasharatha's 3 wives. That's why these roads have been constructed with all the ponds and wells and trees and decorating nicely. And also Dasharatha's wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi, 3 wives. And next, the procession from Ayodhya consisted of thousands of citizens of all classes: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, all classes. And it made its way slowly toward the forest. And so now, because all people are going, the merchants' business is now set out the shops, and the artisans and the craftsmen of all kinds plied their trade along the road. It is their turn to make the business around the roads. And thousands of Brahmins, their minds absorbed in meditation, followed the procession on bullock carts, uttering benedictions and prayers, Vedic hymns. They're always chanting the Vedic hymns. We need to have Brahmanas in every community. There must be some Brahmanas. And Brahmanas are meant only to serve the Lord, chanting Vedic hymns. They bring auspiciousness to the community. Okay, so and after some days, Bharata arrived near Sringavera, where Rama's friend Guha lived. So Guha, whenever Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita they have entered into the forest, Guha received them very nicely, and then he has made them to cross the Ganges River as well to other side of the forest. And then he come to that point, Bharata, that is the Sringavera, nearer to Sringavera. And halting on the bank of the Ganges on that night, the prince set up a camp, and Bharata descended from his chariot along with the Shatrughna and went down to the river bank, where he lay down in a prostrate obeisance to the Ganges, along with his brother Dasharatha's wives. He offered Ganges water to the king's departed soul. So giving the oblations to the departed souls using the Ganges water, remembering them, so that departed souls will go back to their path, back to Godhead. They make their way. But it is the duty of the son to offer oblations to the forefathers. Okay, so likewise, the story is going on Ramayana. Okay, okay, so just I will wind up. I will read one page of paragraph and then we'll stop there. Guha had seen Bharata's approach and said to his counselors, "This huge army appears like a sea without any shore. And I see in the distance a towering banner bearing the emblem of Bharata. Surely he has come here wishing harm to Rama." Now Guha is in another way. He wanted to protect Ramachandra. So, and then Guha thought Bharata intended to kill Rama in order to establish his unchallenged right to the kingdom. Seeing the tremendous number of people accompanying Bharata, he felt fearful. "I think this prince will either bind us with chains or kill us, finding us entirely devoted to Rama." Guha continued, "Have our men stand ready with weapons and clothed in mail. The boats should each be filled with 100 warriors and should wait on the other side of the river. Rama is our lord and master, and we should do whatever is in our power to assist him." This is the mood of Guha. So he wanted to protect Ramachandra and Bharata, but he did not know the intention of Bharata yet. So it is the political thing at the moment. In these political situations, everything is volatile. We do not know whom to expect what. And also, even Guha was thinking about Lakshmana also during those times when Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita was going. So at the time, there was a later on in that night, Lakshmana did not sleep, and Guha also did not sleep, and Rama was lying on the floor and that leaves bed. At that time, there is a conversation between Lakshmana and Guha as well about all the pastimes. Now again, those that Guha is the friend of Rama. Now he wanted to assist Ramachandra in whatever is in our power to assist him. Likewise, Guha is thinking. Guha decided to go personally to Bharata and discover his purpose. Taking various sweetmeats and fruits as an offering, he went with his chief ministers toward the prince's tent. As he approached nearby, Sumantra saw him and informed Bharata. And here comes the Nishada king Guha, accompanied by thousands of his men. He is Rama's friend, and he knows well everything about the forest, O noble prince. So you should allow him to see you. So far he will surely know Rama's whereabouts. Now Sumantra is here, so he is the only mediator between. Previously, Sumantra has dropped Rama, Lakshmana, Sita. During that time, Sumantra and Guha, they were also discussing about the Rama's pastimes, the sequence of events happened in the Ayodhya. And now, the same Sumantra is now with Bharata. So, Bharata is informing that Guha is coming here. So, he knows all about Ramachandra. And you have to allow him to see you. And then instructing Bharata about him, so that Bharata uh, have enough information, enough details about Ramachandra. Okay, so I shall stop there and we shall continue in the next session. Um, I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything on Ramayana on this part or anything you wanted to share or question, kindly do so. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Nicely explained. Dhanma. Yeah, it's very nicely explained. And yeah, but I just have a small question that in some I have heard that who are in the Krishna consciousness, like pure devotee or who are more in the Krishna, they don't need to do those rituals about about their forefather, like when they passed away to this all this like Pitru Kriya or anything like that. So, but in Ramayana, Ram and like in here also Bharata also after like left the body about Dasratha, they done all these things.
Yes.
So why in our said that you don't need required to do when you are in Krishna consciousness or something like that?
These completely devoted people. Devoted, for example, the sannyasis. If you look at the um, our Ishwar Puri's spiritual master, can anyone says spiritual master of Ishwar Puri? Madhavendra Puri.
Madhavendra Puri, yeah, he just started from our parampara.
So Madhavendra Puri, when he was a sannyas, he was begging alms from each and everyone, and then he comes to the Vrindavana there, and then he was mentioning, and all glories to my forefathers, all glories to my Vedic rituals. I cannot do anything anymore from now. So I just wanted to surrender myself onto Krishna. So this is a sannyasi business because he has nothing to do with any of the materialistic way of life. And he is of the topmost order of the ashrama, the brahmacharyam, gurhastam, vanaparastam, sannyasam. So he is in the sannyasa. For sannyasis, they do not have to deal with any of all these things, just only Krishna consciousness. But here, if you look at the Krishna when he is in the Grihastha or Ramachandra in the Grihastha Bharata is in the Grihastha. They're all married and householders. They have to carry out those things. And the devotees, they know what is their duty. They follow here. Asaktaha Sankyam Astitaha. When Krishna was enjoying with 16,108 wives in that many number of palaces with the 10 children in each home and in each wife. So at the time, Asaktaha Sankyam Asitaha, even though not attached, asaktaha, not interested, not interested in the sense, detached from the matter. He was enjoying with all his families. Sankyam asitaha. So here we are devotees. If we need to respect the ashrama where we are in. We are grihasthas. But if you are surrendering ourselves completely and become no more with the material world relations, then we don't have to. Deva Rishi both apta pitrunam naking koronayam runicharajan yah sarvatmanaha saranam saranyam gato mukundam parihritya kartum. But who has surrendered himself completely to Krishna, no more personal reservation, then he does not have to do anything towards forefathers or devas or rishis or families. He is nothing karo, he is no more servant. And
Yeah,
now I
that,
am Runicharajan. Yes, Mataji.
so yeah, that understand. That is understand. But here, like we said, anybody come the Krishna consciousness who are more, they don't need to, but that is not true. So we have to, we are in Grihastha.
Yes,
So Mhm.
yeah, depends on Desha Kala Vibhagavet, based on time, place, and circumstances where we are situated. So, devotee means, are we the devotees?
We are not in that stage even, nobody stage.
We are trying to be devotees. We are not devotion. Devoted means completely surrendered. That is devotee. We are trying to be devotees. We are trying to be devotees of the Lord. We are practicing. So, in that way, we have to respect the rules of the Grihastha.
When the Krishna, when after Mahabharata youth, like war was finished, he has asked Pandava to do all these things.
Yes,
So even the Krishna himself has asked. So what we are nothing like Grihastha, they have to do is continue, isn't it?
yes. Even Krishna also offered oblations to the departed souls after the
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Kurukshetra.
Mahabharata, Kurukshetra. Yeah. Okay. And here also Ram and even after when they went for Rama and Sita, all have again follow all this. Yes, even fast, take like done fasting as well, like Rama. heard afterwards, one will come afterwards. So
Yes.
okay, yeah. So only, but you said like who are the Rusi and they don't have anything about now. They can no need to follow this, but yes.
Yes, sannyasis. For example, if you go to Vrindavan and see, there are so many sadhus. They are like on the streets. They are devoted themselves to the Lord. Whatever comes in their way, they take it and live according to for the pleasure of Krishna. No more of personal reservations. Even
Mhm.
previously, once upon a time, they were rich people. Now, no more interested in this materialistic way of life. They are surrendered and their way to the mm, uh, going like they're in the way to Golok Vrindavan.
Mhm.
That is their desire. So just give up everything. That is called devoted.
Mhm. They devoted everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what's the good internal and external potency? Internal potency, and what that exactly mean?
Internal potency is the Atma Maya. External potency is the Bahiranga Shakti. That
So
is the
yoga.
energy.
So that is yoga external potency.
External potency is the Mahamaya. That is the Bhumi, भूमिरापुर्नलो वायु खम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यम्मि भिन्ना प्रकृति रस्ते भिन्ना प्रकृति is the mahamaya and internal potency that is the yoga maya internal it is completely spiritually that is always linking to krishna yoga maya it is bringing conditioned souls nearer to krishna that is yoga maya yoga means connection to krishna that is yoga maya bringing the souls nearer to krishna.
Mhm. But God don't have interest, or anything of that. He just following. And he doesn't have anything to follow or anything like that.
Yes, so Krishna has got so many of his energies. नतस्य कार्यं करणं च विद्यते न तत्समश्च अभ्युतिकश्च दृश्यते पराशक्तिर्विविधेषु रीते स्वाभाविकी ज्ञान बल क्रिया च. He has all his energies are always working and he does not have to do anything. His energies only works according to his will. Just only he desires. That's all. All his energies work. Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. So, this Yoga Maya orchestrates the activities for the will of Krishna, to please Krishna. That is Yoga Maya's part.
But when Krishna was in Vrindavan when he was small, that he was like sometimes he thinking that there's Krishna when he was looking in the mirror, there's other Krishna, and he's still in the Yoga Maya. He just was pretending like that, isn't
Yes, it is Yoga Maya orchestrate the pastimes of Krishna.
it? So he just he was like, yeah, because he sometimes he just forget, he's not forget, but he himself not think like about his supreme personality. He just behaves like with his what do you call this friends and everybody else, like it's just a small normal friends and like that.
Yes.
And
Yeah, just to increase the ecstasy and those feelings, amorous pastimes between the
so,
Gopi and Krishna, or his friends and Krishna friends and Krishna. Yogamaya orchestrates those different. Okay, even the demons are also coming. Again, that is also another way.
but he forget, or he just was pretending that way too, or he just because of the yoga maya. He, anyway, God cannot forget anything, but I'm not sure how is that work.
So yes, otherwise, if it will make a Krishna for a time being that oh he doesn't know anything, but actually it is the Krishna's will that he wants to enjoy with his
Yeah.
devotees and all those things. That's why Yoga Maya orchestrates. Uh,
Mhm.
for example, when the king is coming to our country or just the place where we live in our community, uh, At that time, what we do, we wanted to give pleasure to king, and we do something. Our king secretary will arrange something. King's secretary will arrange something for the pleasure of king. So some dances like that. And when king comes and sees dances, he will be amazed and very happy by looking at those dances or singing and by looking at the community's activities. In such a way, secretary arranges. So Lord knows that his secretary is working only for him, and he will do something for his pleasure's sake. But something is going to be good. That is the ecstasy. What is going to be the new? But if secretary does things which is not appropriate or pleasing to the king, he will be punished. That is a different thing. But here, Yoga Maya orchestrates for the Krishna's pleasure, everything, all pastimes. It is. Otherwise, how would Krishna feel enjoyment?
And that's the reason he came, isn't it? To enjoy.
Yes,
That's-
that is the enjoyment. The,
And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like, Radharani Bhav came to enjoy it, like Radharani, how, like, how he love Krishna, how, so in that Bhav he came in. When he was in here, that at that time he was like crying and like, like for the Krishna, it just was ecstasy, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
that is Vipralambha Bhava. Again, um, when Krishna was being separated from the Vrindavan people and he is going to Dwaraka, all people are just crying for the sake of Krishna and Krishna because these are all coming in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, ecstasies of the devotees of the Lord and the Lord. These will come and how those ecstasies sometimes Vipralambha Bhava is better. Uh, it is mentioned like the Sambhoga and Vipralambha. Again, Sambhoga is whenever meeting, they feel the ecstasies. And Vipralambha is when they're separated, they feel the ecstasies. And again, number of levels of Vipralambha Bhava. Even though a person is nearer to you, and then, but that time is very short, and then after that, he would leave. And thinking of that feeling, the separation after that, sometime Krishna is going to leave, rather than is going to thinking like that. And that is another feeling. So there are names have been given in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya about that Sambhoga and Vipralambha. And then that is one feeling. And then coming back to Krishna again, Krishna is going to come after maybe 10 years or 20 years, thinking of that. Krishna has promised us that he would return back. Okay, and one day he will come back. And then they have got a feeling, hope, and they will live like that. But they are not with Krishna, but still with the hope that Krishna is going to come. That is one feeling, Vipralamba, another stage of Vipralamba. That is more of, they feel happiness in one way, that they feel good. Instead of Krishna is with them, now Krishna is going to leave. Compared to that feeling, Krishna is not there, that Krishna is going to come later on. That feeling is good. Krishna is going to come, that feeling is good. So there are feelings that was described in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So I think this is at chapter 14 of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, this is okay, exactly. This is and that. So divisions of experience in relationship of conjugal love or sambhoga and vipralamba separation. Sambhoga platform exercises are unlimited, and the Vipralamba platform, they are four in number. Ecstasy exhibited before the lover and beloved meet. That is one feeling. And the ecstasy experienced between them after meeting. And the state of mind experienced by not meeting. And the state of mind experienced after meeting but fearing separation are called Vipralamba. Vipralamba serves as nourishing element for the future meetings. So when the lover and beloved meet all of a sudden and embrace one another, they feel an ecstasy of happiness. And the state of mind they experience in that ecstasy is called sambhoga. According to the situation, sambhoga ecstasy is also known by four names: Sankshipta, Sankirna, Sampanna, and Samriddhiman. Such symptoms are also visible during the dreams. Yeah, so these are different way of Vipralampa and Sambhoga, understanding those pastimes.
So, like, he was said that Krishna never left Vrindavana. Like, when Uddhava came, when not Akrura came, but at that time he never left. He was still in the Vrindavan, and only that Vishnu or like Krishna, he only left. So, so they, so when the gopi they never experience of that Krishna who never left the Vrindavan. How did that work? Like,
So here, if we think in that way, we are limiting Krishna just only his personal body is present. So he is going to Dwarka, so Krishna. But when we say Krishna is absolute, his name, form, qualities, and his words, everything is absolute platform. That means this is achintya, inconceivable. Because if I think that, oh, Krishna's body is personally present in the Vrindavana, means we are limiting his presence. And if this is called um, limitation, but Krishna's consciousness is the achintya bheda abheda tattva, inconceivable. So he is absolute truth, and by his name we associate with the Lord itself in the Vrindavana. And some people who have got more ecstasy and those feelings, for them, Lord is exhibited, devotees share those pastimes. And someone has experienced the Radharani, like if we see the Shyamananda Prabhu and the disappearance of Shyamananda, we have read the pastimes. So Radharani was personally present, and then that anklet of Radharani, it was given, and then he was using it as a tilak in his forehead. So those devotees and Narottama Das Thakur and Raghunath Das Goswami, they have received the blessings of the Lord. And Sanatana Goswami, he was speaking with the Madan Gopal. Um, Madan, like so many pastimes are there. So they have seen, but that much of knowledge and detachment and devotion must be there. But if they have got those things, but we need to know who are those devotees and associate with them. But in order to get into that point, first of all, we must be pure enough. So
okay.
Lord will make the way so that we also get association with those devotees.
Mhm.
But devotee means surrendered completely. We are trying to be devotees. We are still in the grahastha and doing something, cooking in the home, and then doing home chores and my children and working for themselves. Likewise, we have got so many other things of material things and relations. At the same time, progressing in the spiritual path, rendering some service to Krishna, some part of the day.
Mm.
Especially is the time. Time is the essential, more valuable than the money. If you give your time to Krishna, that is that much of time you are dedicated to Krishna, are devoted to Krishna.
Mm. Okay.
The 24 hours who give 24 hours dedication and devotion to Krishna, so sannyasis like that. And
Mm.
then becoming sannyasi plus knowledge and complete detachment also. No more sense gratification, even though in a sannyasi order, no more sense gratification and also complete knowledge and complete love manifested in them. And then engaging further devotional works like compiling of the scriptures like Rupa Goswami and absorbing in those thoughts. At that time, Lord will manifest. uh, his personal uh, like assistants like Radharani, Krishna, Gopis, and all those people will be, all those entourage will be exhibited in front of those devotees. But devotees wanted to serve them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's the reason when Uddhava, when Krishna was missing everybody, and then Uddhava went again to Vrindavana to give his philosophy that, about the God. At that time, the Gopi was said, isn't it, that Krishna never gone from their mind, like all the time. They want the Krishna to go from their mind so they can do their chores, their work. So that's why it's like it's always in Vrindavan because he is in their mind all the time, isn't it?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Even that's why Uddhava afterwards realized that, wow, that Gopi, and then he just want to become a Raj of that Vrindavan. Because one Gopi was crying, something. So he said, oh, now one Gopi realized something. He was just meditating something. So he realized now about the Krishna separation. But he was saying that I want Krishna to go from my mind so I can do the work. That's what I'm asking, to go, leave. That was they have, attached love for the Krishna.
Yes, yeah,
He just want to out from his mind because it's all the time Krishna, Krishna everywhere.
yes.
And that's so again called as it never left in Vrindavan in their mind, not physically, but
Krishna is the absolute,
yeah.
all attractive personality. It doesn't matter if it is a name or person or his qualities, whatever it is, paraphernalia of Krishna. Even just as soon as we look at the peacock feather or flute, immediately we remember Krishna.
Yeah.
Or the Tribhanga, just lotus feet, just crossed legs. Tribhanga. Okay, so that is all his qualities.
I'm just taking a different topic from Ramayana. Sorry,
Yes, yes, Mataji.
but it's all God related. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, anything else, or we shall conclude and continue with further japa? Questions or sharing?
Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhu. It's about Ramayana, reading about how the Bharata was determined to when that go to forest to see the Ram, and then how he prepared everything, the road, everything had to be flower well. It's so beautiful way that Bharata is engaged with all the citizens, all the Ayodhya Vasi. So then they all happy to say that, oh wow, that Bharata is, you are very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Bharata was very so pleased.
So this is
So Prabhu, that the road when the Bharat was doing it. So when he wants to go to see the Ram, that's why he's doing that all the road all the way to the forest. Is
yes,
it Prabhu?
yes,
So
Mataji.
how just they said that planting the trees and everything. So the planting the trees is not going to be straight
Mhm.
like things, but still how the people are so in there to see the Ram on the forest, and then make the everything all the path is beautiful for Ram.
Yes, it happened in a 30 days period.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So that's nice, Prabhu.
Yeah, within this 30 days, they have made the roads and the
Mm.
ponds, wells, and it made the trees planted, everything in and around these festoons, flags, and everything. And shops are also established within that period. So, as we have gone to the Mahakumbh in the Prayagraj,
Yes. Yes. The good example, Prabhu.
that is a good example. Yes.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. They made everything.
Yeah, it is arranged. Here, what it means in the current present time? Bharata, Bharata Desh. We are in the part of Bharata. uh, Bharat Bhumite, so something is there, Janma Haila. So the kings who are ruling in the Bharata, the politicians or the ministers or prime ministers or presidents, when they're going to the temples, that path must be having all these things, all auspicious paths. A king who is ruling, he must be focusing on the temples, Vishnu temples, Rama temples, Krishna temples, like that. He must establish all these paths like that. Then his kingdom is happy. He is called Bharata. It is not simply becoming a voters by the dumb people just electing one person. He cannot become a Bharata who is taken birth in the Bharata Desha. Just supporting the injunctions opposite to the Vedic injunction. He cannot become a Bharata. But otherwise, whoever is ruling, they're all Bharatas. They must be Bharata's representative of Ramachandra. So this is, we must have, every state should be Bharata. Every state should be ruled by Bharata. And then that particular state will be very happy.
Yes,
Thank
Prabhu, yes.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so we are 37 past 8 o'clock. And the devotees, if you are all happy, we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Kauringi Mataji wanted to share anything else? Okay, so nothing. So we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Panchakalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिंधुभ्यो
एव च पतितानां
पञ्चाननेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
कोटिवैष्णवं
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय श्री